March 9th, 2022. This also really, this commercial disturbs me completely because I'm in this area and this is a real story about a real guy who's suffering. I have this going on, but this is, and he says that he's written his congressman because that's what the stupid on the street tell you to do, as if it's going to help, and it hasn't.
I have Parkinson's. 3 years ago, I urged Congress for help. Prescription drugs do not work if you cannot afford them. They didn't do anything. I was forced to sell my home to pay for my medicine. I shouldn't have to decide between my home or my medicine because Congress refuses to act.
Congress, Americans are struggling. Let Medicare negotiate lower drug prices. Act.
Now, I don't know what this Medicare is. The humans, the same ones that lie to my face about everything else, they have not explained who's behind this Medicare and if they're actually helpful. This AARP, I have no idea what this is. Paid for by AARP? I have no idea what that is. That's a real man in really North America, in really the United States of America, really having problems and really trying to get help from Congress, which is what his people were told. And he's shaking and there's no help at all. I have my own thing going on with the unrest in the American colonies. And then right before that, there's one of the UN kids with some US whatever, because he's inside this next guy is inside New York City, operating as if he is medically allowed. He's a malpractice case, just walking around.
ABC. For Optimum today.
Hi.
This guy. Who hired him? Now he's on a blue background. Earlier he was on a violet or a purple background. Then it went to a white background, but it looks like a green screen to me. This man is saying his name is Dave Chotsky. I call him Chotsy. Yahtzee Chotsy. Dave A. Chotsy. He claims to be MD, although I don't know who issued his degree. And then he claims to be a commissioner of New York City Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. Really? Because I'm in New York City, and I didn't hire you, and you're not allowed to touch people like me. You're just not. I didn't give you permission to touch my body. Or touch my blood, or any of that. So now, just curious, because this is saying it's working as a doctor, and there's a commercial after that of a United States of North America ancestor. Looks close enough and kind of, sort of, but not really family member. But yet he's shaking and he can't seem to get medical help or biological, physiological help, but yet this seems to be functioning and a growing concern and problem, which the UN has these humanitarian causes, and then it plays around with the United States, and then like refugee crap, and then better educated. It's a real problem.
Dr. Dave Chotsky signing off as the 43rd Health Commissioner of New York City.
Now, I'm on 43rd Avenue. Who gave him permission to speak and use that number signature? Because it wasn't me. At aiding and abetting terrorists and growing networks in other people's homelands.
It's been an extraordinary and difficult last 2 years together. I wanted to leave you with a few parting messages. First, getting vaccinated and staying up to date with a booster dose remains the single most important way to protect yourself from COVID-19. Second, remember that COVID-19 is still a risk, even if it's a more manageable one. Some precautions are still needed, particularly if you are older, unvaccinated, or otherwise at higher risk. Third, pay attention to all of the other ways that the pandemic has affected our health, including our mental health. And finally, I hope you'll remember how much I and my dedicated colleagues at the health department care about your well-being.
All lies, they just want more bodies. But news and the gig is up, the heavenly bodies, which is not him, have been broken. So now the heavenly body is broken, which means the celestial is broken. The moon went missing for a few nights it was an astrological event, and I documented it, along with other witnesses in the area that also documented it or knew about it. We spoke about it over a time period that we share in the local area that he is not a part of. So now I'm just curious, why is
It has been the
closer family member to what I was born,
3 years ago,
why is he
I urged
shaking?
Congress for help.
Why is he not able to get help?
If you cannot afford them. They didn't do anything.
Even with prescription drugs, he doesn't need prescription drugs. That just helps feed the pillar. The problem is much more different than that. It's the electrical impulses being sent from all of this really shitty electrical equipment that interferes with the interior energy grid and safety system through some Bluetooth timing mechanic that nobody can see, but they can pick up on, and they start shaking. It's a real big hazard, the way that New York State is being run, with the management that they've installed, and with the people who have gotten better educations to try to make people like this feel crazy. They literally sit here, want to prescribe drugs, put you in clinical psychology, whatever. They want to commit you to mental institutions. More ways in large genocidal format that they're trying to wipe this out in North America with the help of the UN refugee that causes the crisis and this broad range communication where everybody has a free voice. It's a real problem. Mixed into and furthered by the American Travel and Leisure Society, of which I'm not a part of. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. I'm not this bad at this point. So I am trying to document where I can move and walk in order to prevent getting to this late stage. I don't understand why it has to get to here. And why I don't have a system built in of protection, and why the refugees have better systems. They're not us. They're not Mount Rushmore. They're not rock. They're not paper. They're not scissors. So why are they taking a priority seat over him and myself receiving help? Just curious. I'm on this property with rock solid evidence.